Welcome to another night of Late Nights with Lenin. I'm your host. Sorry. Not working. I'm sorry. I'm not Sal.
Maybe you are today. Who knows?
Oh, God.
I apologize.
We were laughing about stuff before, so we're a little.
We're not stoned. I'm not stoned, but she is.
Oh, I am. Yeah. Hi.
No. Janet is. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
And me.
Okay. But we were talking about the ridiculous things. So the first thing is like, can we just pull up the Canadian MP tweet about his wife shoveling the driveway?
Oh my God. Why would he do that? He really thought he was gonna like.
What was the?
I don't know.
Why did he like tweet it? Like it's like my wife worked for 12
Get
hours.
outside and help your fucking wife, you asshole.
Yeah, and he's like, now she's gonna shovel the driveway.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make her what? What?
That was wild. That was some wild stuff.
Like,
Whoa, look how many likes it has. I'm honestly really surprised it has 40.
No, I think it's like ironic. Like he's been like, even Sebastian Gorka dragged him. He said, "You are an insult to manhood."
Oh my God.
You know Gorka, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he when they asked him, okay, so he belonged to this like Hungarian Nazi fascist club called Vitesse Rend, and basically when somebody asked him about it, he's like, "I am not a communist." He was like, "Okay, so we know you're a bleepity bleep." But the funniest one is that he would always talk about Black Africans, like
that's not good.
Well, you only talk about Black Africans if you're hanging out with white South Africa. I don't know, apartheid. It was just a weird thing.
That's weird. Yeah.
Okay. And he worked for Donald Trump for like the longest. Why did he get kicked out of the White House?
He was the deputy assistant to the president. Yeah.
Why did he get kicked out? Do you remember, Jenna?
I don't remember.
Okay. But it was really extremely. Oh, he had this like real. Oh my God, his PhD thesis about like terrorism. Wow. This world, like, how do you get like such like disgusting people in such high places, right?
Oh my God. It says he was almost arrested by Hungarian police for firearm and ammunition abuse.
So he shot up somebody?
I don't
I don't know what ammunition. I'm gonna actually have to ask. Like, if I
abuse of ammunition.
I'm gonna have to ask my Hungarian friend about this because it seems a little. It's probably like I bet you like in Hungary, it's like they have like they're one of those countries where it kind of like
leaving it out somewhere.
No, everything psychotic like sounds like really harmless because they're like one of those like countries where they don't want to stigmatize criminalization or something. And it's I don't know. I'm gonna ask about that. Yeah, everything.
He's far right, anti-Semitic group.
Vitesse Rend. Yep, they were like literally collaborators with, who Hitler lived.
Not great.
Yeah. And he was but the thing about it is that the Democrats are like, Janet said that the CDC director tweeted something out about like it's only sick people dying.
It's only sick people dying?
Yeah. Janet, would you mind sharing the tweet of the CDC director?
Yeah, give me 1 second and I'll find out.
So well people are not dying? Okay.
Like
what a weird...
Yeah, she was saying like it's only people that had like 4 comorbidities.
Oh, comorbidities. That means like if you have depression, if you're overweight, if you smoke, or if you have like ADHD, if you have like 4 of those things, then you're more likely to die from. And then so they're saying like basically they're promoting eugenics. Like this is eugenics right now, what they're doing, because they're like, oh, well, only the sick people are going to die. And that's all right.
Yeah, this disabled person is costing the Reich 60,000 marks.
Exactly. So yeah, it's eugenics.
Jesus Christ.
It's horrible.
Yeah. What's really funny? Like, so today somebody on Twitter asked, like, what is the one thing that your profession, like, that makes you wish everyone else would understand? And I'm like, oh my God, everyone in American, like, government is like psychotically and demented and dangerous. And I want to, like, it's like, and this is all like public documents you can download from like State Department, and they're all demented, psychotic, like they're just horrible.
And it goes back to like the inception. Like, I don't know, the CIA has always been doing like stuff like this.
Even before the CIA. Okay, before the CIA, there's a law firm called Sullivan Cromwell. What's his face? Dulles. John, is that his name or Al? I forgot. The Dulles brothers basically worked for that, and they did they're like the private CIA. Like they did their own coups and like yeah. And then these
like a
brothers,
before Blackwater type of situation.
It was worse. Like they literally Banana Republic, like they literally like shot up like these Colombian workers for like asking for money or something. Like it was. Yeah, and then with the CIA...
I'm sorry. You want to see the video of the CDC director? Okay. Hold on. Share screen.
The overwhelming number of deaths, over 75%, occurred in people who had at least 4 comorbidities. So really, these are people who were unwell to begin with. The overwhelming number of deaths.
Yeah. So like a comorbidity could be like smoker, overweight, ADHD, like
they consider
they don't make you unwell, like they don't.
It could be just like something you're born with.
Yeah.
Like diabetes.
Yes. That's a comorbidity. And they're like, oh, well, these people are going to die. So it's like, fine.
Section T4. And I'm like, none of this is like, okay, everything seems to expose how powerless the American people are. Because like, one thing, for example, God, you heard about the Bronx fire?
Yes, was it 16 people?
I don't know. Last time I checked, it was 9 people dead, but it could have been more. Okay, but there's one really weird thing. Okay, so the slum is owned by this company, and the owner of that company is on mayor's transition team.
The owner of
the slum, the landlord.
Oh God.
Yeah.
On the Biden transition team?
No. Mayor.
On the mayor. Okay.
I forgot. Eric. What's his name? What's the New York mayor's name, Janet? I forgot. Eric Adams?
Yes, it's Eric Adams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like now missing it.
Oh, isn't he like super like fash?
Apparently, yes. Like, I'm like, how did that, like, de Blasio is like almost cute in front of him.
Yeah, this guy's like, I feel like he's like pretty hardline fash. I don't know. Like if I've listened to him talk and I'm like, oh, that's really bad. That's not good. Hold on. Let me find what I'm talking about.
Today, like he said that they left the window open or something, and that's what caused the fire.
What?
Yeah, like he said something really weird like that. Like, so I forgot. I think it was because some heater fell down or something like that. I forgot.
Oh, that sucks.
But you know what's really funny? The country where the U.S. is most recently cooing, about 2 years, like, and this is the pro-U.S. puppet dictator. 2 years ago, there was like a poor area that caught on fire, like that had a like apartment caught on fire, and like 2 people died. And he had to fire everyone who worked in that city for that. You know what I mean? Like, so, and then like I checked another corruption report, like, and this is like a neoliberal country, like Kazakhstan, where it's like, oh, these police like tortured this guy and he died. But then the police got arrested and tried and convicted, which is
yay. That means it's solved, right?
No, it's like way better than the US, which is like, see, you see what
I mean? It is better. He does it like, yeah, like the cops don't really get in trouble.
And then like the fact that the entire city was fired for letting this apartment building for poor people catch on fire is like,
that's a good outcome. Like they shouldn't have those jobs, but
no, I know, but it's like it's still a neoliberal puppet. This is the puppet dictator set up by the US. Like this is how bad I can't like the puppet dictator is supposed to be less like, you know what I mean? He's supposed to be like Pinochet, and like this is like.
Did you see the one of the guy who like got lit on fire because he got tased?
I did not. I cannot see it, but I heard about it. Yes,
it was fucking horrible, and they tried to arrest him while he was on fire. Like they didn't even help him. Like they tried to handcuff him back. Well, oh yeah, he died because he breathed in the fire, and his lungs couldn't absorb oxygen after that.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah. Oh, God. And so they like, instead of trying to spray him with a fire extinguisher, they try to handcuff him while he was on fire.
Oh, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. There was 3 people and like 3 cops, and they were just being horrible to this man who was literally on fire. Okay.
Well, then there's this, but on the lighter note, there was this.
Sorry, yeah, move on, please.
Hold on, sorry. Yeah. These LA cops who were fired because the bank. Oh, okay, this is the funny thing. Okay, if a bank is being robbed and you go play Pokemon, there's actually consequences. But if you let like a man catch on fire, no consequences. You know what I mean? Like a bank robbing a bank on the like if.
Wait, so
can you tell about the bank robbery?
Yeah, I want to hear about that. That sounds hilarious.
Okay,
he was playing Pokemon.
I'm going to show it on screen.
Okay, the bank robbery.
Yeah, what happened with them catching the Snorlax?
Oh my God, was he in like a raid or something? Oh no.
So like, yeah. So 2 LAPD officers were fired for ignoring a call regarding robberies in progress because they were playing Pokemon Go and had spotted a Snorlax.
What the?
There's a whole huge story about it.
No, it was a bank.
Okay. Holy hell.
Yeah.
I feel like they just have to like do stuff like that because they're actually okay with the murder, like,
but they're not okay with you, like, but you have to protect a bank, like banks.
I don't know.
Too big to fail. Like... Even cops get like fired if they don't respond.
Look, you didn't protect the Capitol. Okay, you fucked up.
What? I'm sorry. What did you say?
They did not. They failed to protect the Capitol.
The banks, yes. Okay, so this is how everyone should like probably try to get cops fired.
Always. No.
I guess if they fail to respond to bank robbery, so you should like I don't know. I'm not gonna like tell people to rob a bank. Although I will say Lenin did rob a bank. Stalin actually robbed the bank. And that's how they funded the Bolshevik Revolution.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely consider that.
No. I will not ever advise this. I'm just saying that this was what happened in history.
I'll advise it.
I don't think you should advise it.
I'm just kidding.
We're just saying that this happened in history. And after the great Tbilisi bank heist, the Bolshevik Revolution had lots of money to fund itself, and they overthrew the Tsar. That's all I'm saying.
Something to consider.
Yeah. no, this is just a point in history for you to know about in his history and learn and study.
There.
Uh,
Cut out all the parts of me saying, do the bank robbery.
except this one. Yeah, we're never going to advise you to rob a bank inside of America. But what if the bank robs you?
There you go. That happens all the time.
Yeah. What's it called? Overdraft fees.
Yep.
Yeah, that's literally the bank robbing you. But yeah, it is a weird thing. I mean, oh, okay. Well, okay. The last thing we're gonna have to show. Oh, speaking of banks in the Soviet Union, did you see the latest clip from Anthony Blinken?
No, what happened?
Okay, I'm going to see if I can share my screen.
Okay.
I think that's right. I think that's one of President Putin's objectives, and it is to re-exert a sphere of influence over countries that previously were part of the Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. And as we said, that's unacceptable.
That's so silly. These are fucking, is that a liberal? Are these liberals like
No, these are like
this way?
their brains are dim, like Hillary. You know how like Russiagate, like they drank the Russiagate Kool-Aid.
Are they okay? So they like just think of Russia is like synonymous right now with like the USSR. They have no difference in their mind.
No.
And
That's
Putin
not even it.
is
this is the thing is that there is like Putin's like multiple times has said that it does not matter who the US president is, the policy does not change.
Right.
Like, so he has no incentive to do me bad. What was it? Like they accused him of like a Facebook memes. Like the Russiagate was insane. But these
like the Russians, they got in all of our stuff. They literally did. Like they said they swayed the election with memes.
Yeah. Then why are you not bleeping hiring those bloody Russians to be on your social media team in 2020? Like you like the Democratic Party is committing malpractice if that's true. You know what I mean?
They don't want to win. The Democratic Party doesn't want to win.
No. I'm just
the
saying,
Democratic Party is much happier in the losing position because they can be like, oh my God, the Republicans won't let us do anything. Keep giving us your money.
I know. This is why I think Americans need to see Lenin because he's like a total chat about this. Like he's less like
always.
Yeah. He's just like, okay, fuck the oops. He doesn't swear. Lenin never swears. But the best one is yeah. And then this okay, with Lenin, there's two things. He speaks all the colonizer languages fluently, so you can't mistranslate him, and he's very trolly, so he's gonna like blow it up if you like take him out of anything. Like it's just gonna. So they had to kind of keep it down. But with Stalin, they just like have the most. You can. I was like looking through this like book by the Yale scholar Timothy Schneider, whose book. Like, I don't know why, but like a lot of like fascists in Europe love his translations of his books. And then like, so I checked the first three sources and it all was in its original German and it had to be translated. And I'm like, okay. And the first source was really ridiculous. Like he was talking about the Ukrainian famine. And it was this journalist who was writing from Berlin. And he was a fascist Hitler supporter.
That's not good.
No.
To use those sources.
No, but this is like a Yale professor. So, nice. But I wonder if like you've had like 100 years of like these like circular citations and then the Democrats like are just, and so this is like a total conspiracy theory. But like they're all unhinged on reality. So then Blinken, I don't have this clip like subtitled, but I'll put it in, but I'll just summarize it for you. But Janet will cut me out and put the clip in. But then Blinken asked literally on CNN, asked the Kazakh president, why did you call the what's it called? The CSTO is like a common security trade agreement or organization, something like that, between Russia, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Belarus, and some other 2 nations, maybe Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan or something like that. And so today the Kazakh president was, he was like pissed because he had he just like somebody's cracked whatever the encryption or something, whatever the CIA does with its coups. And they just like had everything like detailed. And then he basically said, "Oh, thank you, dear Vladimir Vladimirovich," which is like the cute. If he said Vladimir Vladimirovich, it would have been respectful. But then he said, "My dear Vladimir Vladimirovich," which is like the cute, "Oh, thank you, my sweetheart," kind of a thing, as like a middle finger to Blinken. And then he said that he thanked Lukashenko, and I believe it was I can't remember, one of the I think it was the Kyrgyz president, but I could be wrong. And then he said, "Thank you for your brotherhood," like brotherhood, basically. And it's like he's mad. Okay, he was really mad that Blinken tried to overthrow him, of course. But why would Blinken like do a coup that he knows he can't win? Do you have any theories?
Do you think he knew he couldn't win?
I don't know, but somebody should have known, right? In the U.S. government, like they should not have been this embarrassed.
Yeah, but do you think that those people are not? The Trump administration was not. Let me confer with others. I'm going to do what the fuck I want.
Biden administration.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Blinken today. It happened today.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why they did that. I don't know. Why would they do that? So they did a coup.
No, they tried.
They tried.
But the Kazakh government, like literally, like they were. I mean, it was like what do you call it? They have what do you call it when like, you know, FBI does this, like where they kind of let conspiracies run for a while before they nab them. What do you call it? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Like, okay, so it's like sometimes, like, let's say that there's a drug deal going on. They're not gonna like immediately come. Sometimes they'll like record like them saying like we're, you know what I mean?
Oh, to like just let them get more like charges up.
Yeah, exactly. So this is basically what, like, whatever software communicate something was been cracked. Look at like the president knew everything. Like he had solid proof, and it was like, oh yeah, like apparently the U.S. like flew in somebody like these like terrorists. Okay, basically what they did in Syria, Libya. But this time it was just like, they just got nabbed, and then Blinken literally asks him, and now he's like comes out and tells the whole world about like everything, and now. In fact, the U.S. is like China's like, okay, we're not gonna. China's come in, and Iran's come in, and Russia's come in. So it's like now, basically, the U.S. just is out of Asia, basically, for all practical purposes. So it's like it doesn't even make sense from your psychotic worldview. So. That's so confusing to me when it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense to me either.
Yeah. But Hillary Clinton is going to be really, at least I'm going to be happy that Hillary Clinton's going to be really mad today because the Kazakh president is like, "Thank you, brothers, Vladimir Putin. I love you." Kind of.
I just like that whole like Russiagate thing. Like, I don't know.
It's basically racism. and like I said, like I have found zero evidence that like it's anything beyond like their crazy conspiracy theories.
I feel like it's just unhinged anti-communism. Like
no, it's worse than that. It's
know.
unhinged, and like they get to a point where it becomes anti-Semitism and just like anti-Slavic, racist, like anti-Russian. Like it's just crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if Russia? What if it's 60 degrees out? What if Russia took the power out in North Dakota? Like, why would they do that? You know, and that's the thing, is that the U.S. just misunderstands Russia so much. Like they just want to be left alone and you to go away. They just don't want to deal with the West anymore. They want the West gone, go away, just leave them alone. And that's all you have to ever do to not, you know what I mean? And the U.S. won't.
No, they just, I don't know why they have such a fixation. Like
I know why.
I don't know.
Because the Bolshevik Revolution really is
it hurt them.
It's still like a good example, and like they won't be happy until like Russia becomes like like they want it to become like Afghanistan. You know what I mean? But like that's the level of deterioration. Like the anger
they'll be happy with. Yeah,
but that's not gonna happen. But that is like what they're seeking, and it's like
total demolish.
It's just because like 100 years ago, slaves were like, no, we don't do slavery anymore, and they're so mad about that.
Yeah, this place sucks.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, for them, like the first thing they were like, oh my God, if those slaves were like no more slavery, what will happen to our Black people here? What if they get ideas? You know what I mean? Yeah,
they definitely did get upset.
And then, yeah, but you can see there's like among the elites, there's an extra level of irrational anger towards Russia that is not like just about profits. It's like, we have to destroy like we literally have to like they're sad that they're not celebrating Lebensraum Day in Moscow. On the fourth Thursday of November is what I always say. Yeah. Well, I mean, that is what Thanksgiving is, right?
Wait, what is the first thing? Is that
Lebensraum Day? Like,
hold on, let me look it up.
Lebensraum is when Hitler was like, you should exterminate all the local people and have Germans move there. Lebensraum.
That's bad. That's not good.
Yeah. So what the US elites are mad about is the fact that they don't celebrate Lebensraum Day on the last Thursday
about that.
of November in Moscow.
Jesus Christ.
And that's a reference to Thanksgiving, of course.
Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The productivity of a small and a big farm, an example from East Prussia. For a change, let us go from distant South Germany to East Prussia, nearer to Russia. We have before us a highly instructive and detailed investigation of which Mr. Bulgakov, who clamors so loudly for details, has been totally unable to make use. Damn.
Okay. I love him.
A comparison of the data on the real productivity of large and small farms, writes Mr. Bulgakov, cannot provide an answer to the question of their technical advantages, since the farms compared may be operating. What?
The maybe part is always like lazy. Liberals always do this where they're like, maybe. And you're like, okay, go fact check this. You don't have to do a maybe. You can go know for sure. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Operating under different economic conditions. Mm-hmm. The most that can be obtained from such data is that the factual confirmation of the negative conclusion that large-scale production possesses no technical advantage over small-scale production, not only theoretically, but under certain conditions, also practically. How you cannot ascertain that from
No, I know. That's why Lenin's like writing this entire thing. Like,
Quite a few comparisons of this kind have been made in economic literature, at all events sufficient to undermine the belief of the unbiased and unprejudiced reader in the advantages of large-scale production generally. In a footnote, the author cites two instances. This is Hagen's work, quoted by Kotsky in the
Frage, like the agrarian question. Frage is question in German.
Agrarfrage. Okay. As well as by Hertz, in which a comparison is made only between two farms in Hanover, one of 4.6 hectares and one of 26.5 hectares. In this example, the small farm has a higher yield per hectare than the large one, and Hagen determined that the income of the small farmer to be higher than that of the large farmer. What?
No. You'll see. Read the next line.
Kotsky, however, has shown that this higher income is the result of underconsumption. Hertz attempted to refute this evidence, but with his usual success. Since Hertz's work has now been translated into Russian, while Kotsky's reply to Hertz is unknown in Russia, we shall very briefly give the substance of this reply in the cited article of Newt.
This happens in America all the time.
Misrepresentation of data?
No. Okay, notice. Okay, so it's kind of weird to see Lenin defending Kautsky, but notice how Hertz is like pro-capitalism. So his work has been like translated into Russian and it's gotten past the Tsarist censors. But Kautsky's work cannot. And Lenin's using his underground, is illegally disseminating this.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
that's really cool.
But the US does this like all the time where they'll like, I don't know.
They'll translate stuff and like send it to other people or
no. Literally they mistranslate like 100% of the time. If Putin's like mouth is moving, they're just mistranslating something. Like they
really?
Yeah. I've so many times, like I can't even tell you like how often he gets mistranslated. Ahmadinejad got mistranslated with the Israel thing, because he was making the Holocaust denial was a total lie. What he was saying was that the British, he was just saying that the British committed genocide and then Nazis committed genocide, but the British didn't face consequences. Like basically, that's like a very like mild. In the third world, everyone says this. Like, okay, what's the difference between the British and the? I mean,
yeah. Right.
Like Winston Churchill's own Secretary of Foreign whatever said there's not much difference between him and Hitler when it comes to India.
Damn.
His own Secretary of whatever. I can show you the quote. So this is like in the third world. It's a very, and so he went with that. And it was not Holocaust denial. It was him saying that there are extra Holocausts that you in the West don't recognize. You know what I mean?
Right. He was acknowledging way more Holocausts.
Exactly. And the British did do genocide in Persia in like many times.
Damn.
Like in the 1900s, like they really messed up on me. I mean, what country did they not screw up? Like, you know what I mean? I have a theory that every single the world's problems can be tied to the British. Like somehow it's their fault. But I've never been able to disconfirm this. Like I've always found a British connection.
Nice. I mean, I believe it.
I know I know that I'm biased, and you probably should not believe me on this because
no, I'm gonna believe
definitely it. Biased against British people.
I believe it wholeheartedly.
No, don't. I acknowledge my biases, and I want to believe this. So,
almost everything. We'll go with 90% of almost everything.
Okay, I want to believe, but it's I don't know if I should believe.
Hertz, as usual, distorted Kotsky's arguments and alleged that he referred only to the fact that the owner of the big farm is able to send his son to the gymnasium. Oh,
literally, yeah. I mean, Hillary always did this, where you distort everything. Yeah, and the entire American government is distorting everything. Like, I don't know, like in every country, they don't like any enemy country. They're just literally like lying about everything. And this is exactly the thing. Okay, let's go on.
In actuality, Kautsky mentioned this merely to illustrate the standard of living and had Hertz quoted in full of the budgets of the two families in question, each consisting of 5 persons. He would have obtained the following figures: 1,158 marks and 40 pfennigs. There we go. Yeah. For the small farm, and 2,739 marks and 25 pfennigs for the large farm. If the farm of the small farm lived on the same standards as that of the large farm, the small farm would prove less profitable than the large one. O'Hagan estimates the income of the small farm at 1,806 marks, i.e. 5.45% of the capital invested, or 33,651 marks, and that of the large farm at 2,720 marks, or 1.82% of the capital invested. Oh God, so that was a lot more capital.
149,559 marks.
Yeah, so I mean, did he not look at those numbers at all?
No, they did, but they're like
they just left them out on purpose.
No, they're just like, yeah. New York Times like literally does this all. I mean, the New York Times is like a Pied Piper that just like basically like I like suddenly like this Kazakh president became a pro-Putin strongman, and it's like, no, you just made that up. With zero evidence, you 100 like, and yeah, and literally it's always like 100% of the time just dancing with the national security state, like just it's like a tango, like they're like tango, like it's never like they've never accidentally gone against the national security state. It's just like and you'll see, like if you look up the same guy like 1 month ago, he would not have been called a pro-Putin authoritarian strongman, but president.
Nice.
But like it's like so it's so bad the like how much they dance, like all the newspapers in America just dance.
I call it lying.
No, it's worse than lying. It's literally being in coordination. Like it's like like imagine you're a tango dancer and the national, you're like then letting the national security state take you wherever. That's what they're doing.
Oh, it's sick.
To the tango.
We're so fucked.
No, but like I cannot, like it's like, but they're always in perfect synchrony and they're always tangoing together. Like it's not, so you have to understand that it's a tango that's been choreographed, not a, maybe I need to tango again. I need to learn how to tango. Okay, that's still going to be my new exercise, I think. No, I can't. COVID. Duh.
Hey, you can always learn how to tango on YouTube.
No. You need a partner with the tango. It takes 2 to tango.
Oh, that is the saying, isn't it? If we make allowances for the underconsumption of a small farmer, we shall find that his income is equal to 258 marks, or 80%, or point. Wait.
What is it? 0.80%.
Yeah.
This reminds me of this tweet earlier today, like yesterday, where this guy's like percentage of people incarcerated in Europe. And then it says Russia, 356. And I'm like, no, 300. It's like Americans are so bad with math. Okay.
Yes.
356% of the people in Russia are not incarcerated.
Yeah, no, I'm like really bad at math too.
Okay. I think this is like a bourgeoisie, only like the bourgeoisie, like can, I think it's a bourgeoisie affliction to be bad at math, because if you're like in no other country is it okay. in the Western countries, sometimes it's socially acceptable to be bad at math, but like there's a reason why it's not acceptable to be bad at math in colonized countries in Asia, because that's like makes you stupid. So
I mean, I'm not saying it's a good thing.
No. I think it's a bourgeoisie affliction that allows you to not learn like logical skills and like let the national security state just dance around you. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's to you personally, but I still like find that being bad at math is a bourgeoisie affliction.
Well, I'm not allowed to be bad at math or else I will fail my classes. So
exactly.
I agree.
I can teach you a little math, all the math you want. Like I promise I'll be very, okay. Yeah. But, and this might be just I think I once got into an argument in like Majority Report because this guy was like, they had this guy on who wanted to like cancel math or something. And I was like, no,
cancel math. Why would you do that?
But then like, I wasn't the only one who was mad. Like they got like 1 month of phone calls about the math from math nerds.
Yeah, I think that would be terrible. Like imagine like engineering, imagine like building stuff like without math.
Well, yeah,
like,
anyways.
No, you can't do that. Mm-mm. Shit would just fall apart. Okay, where was I at? And this sorry. And this, when the amount of labor involved is disproportionately high. On the small farm, there are 3 workers to 4.6 hectares. That is 1 worker to 1.5 hectares. While on the large farm, there are 11 Hertz, 75 Russian chins. Wait, so
that's a transfer citation. Okay. So there are 11 workers to 26.5 hectares. That is 1 work. Okay. So in the small farm, there's 1 worker for 1.5 hectares. In the large farm, there's 1 worker for 2.4 hectares. And that's because they have like some sort of like tractor or automated machinery in the large farm where you need less workers per hectare. I mispronounced it.
Okay, so that is 1 worker put to 2.4 hectares. Furthermore, we shall not dwell on the circumstances just ridiculed by Kotsky that the alleged socialist Hertz compared the labor of the children of modern peasants to Ruth's gleaning.
Ruth is in the biblical legend. Ruth gleaned ears of a cornfield in an alien field. The expression Ruth's gleaning is here used in a sense of easy, carefree labor. So yes. So basically, Hertz compared child slaves to Ruth's gleaning.
Wow.
Labor of the children of the modern peasant. Children, so child labor. Okay.
That's Hertz. Jesus, buddy. Come on. Mm-hmm. You fucked up. Mr. Bulgakov confines himself merely to presenting the figures of the yield per hectare, but say not a word about the respective standards of living of the small and big farmers. We find another example, continues our advocate of details, in the latest research of Karl Clocky.
Just ignore the German.
Okay. Names yeah.
I like the advocates of details.
He's so snarky.
I know.
His examples are taken from East Prussia. The author compares the large, medium, and small farms by taking 4 of each kind. The specific feature of his comparison is, first, the fact that expenditure and income are expressed in money, and secondly, the fact that the author translates the cost of labor power on the small farms where it is not purchased in money and places it to the expenditure accounts. Such a method is hardly correct for our purpose. Mr. Bulgakov forgets to add that Clocky translates the cost of labor on all of the farms into money, and from the outset values the labor on the small farms at a lower rate. Nevertheless, there follows a table which for the moment we shall merely summarize. The average net profit per Morgan,
which is 1/4 of a hectare.
Yes. On the large farm is 10 marks. On the medium farm, 18 marks. And on the small farm, 12 marks. And Mr. Bulgakov concludes the highest profits are obtained on the medium farms. Then comes the small farms, while the large farms lag behind. Like, I love that. That is so typical, right? So he's trying to portray which farm, like, is the best farm, right? He's
obviously like the factory farms are going to be the best farms, as in most productive.
Just fucking lying.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen fit to quote the entire passage in which Mr. Bulgakov compares the large and small farms. Now let us consider what is evidenced by Clocky's interesting work, 120 pages of which are devoted to a description of 12 typical farms existing under equal conditions. In the first place, we shall cite the statistics pertaining to these farms, and in the interest of space and clarity, we shall confine ourselves to the average figures for the large, medium, and small farms, the average size of the farms in each category being 358, 50, and 5 hectares, respectively.
Okay, let's go through the table, but we'll put it up, okay?
Okay. I just want to look at it for a second. It says all the data that is like here, it would appear. It appears as though the small farms are.
But it's not true. You'll see why.
Right. I love how they're portraying the largest as the ones with like the harder time. That's funny. It would appear, therefore, that all Mr. Bulgakov's conclusions are fully confirmed by Clocky's work. The smaller the farm, the higher the gross income, and the higher even the income of sales per morgen. Wow. We think that with the methods employed by Clocky, widely employed methods, in their main feature common to all bourgeois and petty bourgeois economists, the superiority of small-scale farming in all or nearly all cases is proved. Consequently, the essential thing in this matter, which the Voroshilovs completely fail to see, is to analyze those methods. And it is for this reason that Clocky's partial researchers are such an enormous general interest.
Actually, this is precisely the problem. Like yesterday, I was getting into this argument with this, like, his professor of history from, I forgot what, Kentucky. Well, he's a tenured professor. So he claimed that Stalin killed like 1/4 of Lithuania's population.
Nice. Himself
so
personally?
Yeah. Physically. And then I was like, okay, I went and checked for the past, like since the 1800s, Lithuania's population. And I'm like, where? Like even in the World War II years, Lithuania's, like there's no data to say that Stalin just killed 1/4 of Lithuania's population.
It's true if you say it's true.
He personally just like went, I know, like ate what's the meme where he's like, he asked my grandfather to lick an ice cream scoop, or you know the meme, right? No, he took an extra large spoon and ate up all the grain himself.
Oh, yes, that one. Yes, he took a giant spoon. I love that. I love that so much. Yes, he personally did it. Like Kirby. Have you ever seen Kirby?
No.
That pink guy who like sucks up stuff. He's like, he just does like, that, but to the grain.
yeah. But and then I'm like, okay, you just made this up. And he's like so confident. He's like, we can agree to disagree. And I'm like, look, you don't have, we cannot agree to disagree because you made this up. There's absolutely no evidence in any of the data, like even collected by Nazis to show that Stalin like killed 1/4 of Lithuania's population.
Hold on, I have a meme to show you for that. Or
made
like
it
a
up.
Picture. Yeah. Hold on.
And I'm like, okay, so you just, and this is, literally they make it up. So they've actually gotten worse, but they're making up crap.
How do I send you
I send it to Janet.
Okay, I'll send it.
Oh, actually, I think you may have sent it to us. Janet will share.
Oh, did it work? Okay, cool.
Maybe. I don't know. Let's ask Janet.
I tried to open it, but it's coming up weird because it's saying.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Oh wait, no, there's a download. Hold on. I think there's a download.
Here,
you sent it either to Twitter or something because I don't know.
Yeah, but this is exactly it. They don't ever analyze the methods of coming to their conclusion. Like, did I look up Lithuania's population before coming to the conclusion that one person personally killed 1/4 of it?
Did you see it? I said it in the group chat.
Yeah. And the answer is no, you did not look up. I don't like there's
I made it up.
He is a tenured professor of history at an American university, and he cannot be bothered to literally look up Lithuania. Like, I mean, and then I'm like, well, so when did this alleged ethnic cleansing happen? And then he also claimed that Stalin personally killed 1/4 of Latvia's population, and that did not happen either, because when you kill 1/4, Hitler killed 1/4 of Russia's population, and you can see if you look at the population from 1941 versus the population from 1946, there are 20 million people missing. You know what I mean? That did not happen in Latvia or Lithuania. And it's and how can, So anyways, all of Western bourgeoisie, social science is just people making crap up.
Yep.
In service of the empire. Okay.
Right. Exactly. For real, or in its circular citations.
Oh God, the circle jerks are the worst. I call them circle jerks. So what happens is that Timothy Schneider cites Kotkin, who cites Annie Applebaum, who then cites Stefan Bandera. And then you realize that everyone is citing Stefan Bandera.
Right. It's all the stuff from, Wingers comes back to Adrian.
Oh, then yes. I have yet to see a source about
That's not directly linked to Adrian's end.
Yeah.
Right.
And he literally went and asked 8 random people. So did you have any friends that got disappeared? And they were like, what? And then, but you asked in the wrong language. So they were like, huh? What? And then he just was like, yes, 5 million people.
Nice.
Are genocide. He just that literally that's his methodology. I kid you not.
No, I don't think you're lying. I don't think that his methodology is very good. Also, his mission in life, his mission statement has to do with
China.
Right. So it's bro, I don't think I'm gonna believe you. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and then he seems to think that birth control is genocide. Oh no. Because he counts the babies not being born as a result of birth control because they use the IUDs, and for him, IUDs are abortion, and abortion is murder. Therefore, birth control is genocide. That's the logic he's going through. Literally,
I like it. Actually, right? I don't. I fucking hate it. I hate that.
No, but that's the logic. Literally, IUDs.
I know. Yeah, I get it.
I forgot. Why did they get IUDs or abortion? I forgot. But
no, anything that blocks having white babies, that's
they're
bad.
Not having white babies in China.
I don't know what his problem is with China, man.
No, they're definitely not having white babies in China. So you should be happy. I don't
know what his problem is. I think they just use anything, right? Anything that they can say, they don't have to actually give a shit about it. That's the fascist way, you just kind of use whatever you can to serve your purpose, right?
Absolutely. But but like I said, so
not trying to say everyone I hate is a fascist, but
no, everyone I hate is a fascist. I'm sorry,
reason.
Everyone I hate is a fascist. If you disagree with me, you're a fascist. I'm gonna just own it. Because the only fascists is screw with me.
For real?
I only disagree with. I don't know. It is true. You'll understand. You just don't know enough to know that this is true. That everyone I dislike is a fascist. Okay, but clearly this is a joke, right? Because I'm laughing.
Yeah,
I just want people to know, because I know somebody is going to take this out of context.
Let us start with the yields. It turns out that the yield of the great majority of cereals regularly and very considerably diminishes with the
So the smaller the area of the farm, the lower the yield.
Okay.
He's like doing double negatives, which makes sense in Russian, but not in English.
Okay. The yield in centers per Morgan on the large, medium, and small farms, respectively.
We'll just like put it out like as a graph. Okay.
Okay. Only flax is not grown on the large farms. Do the small farms gather a bigger yield than the medium farms, namely 6.2 stein against 5? Okay. So to what is the higher yield on the large farms due? Clocky ascribes decisive importance to the following 4 causes. 1, drainage is almost entirely absent on the small farms, and even where it exists, the drain pipes are laid by the farmer himself and laid badly.
Yeah, that's right.
The small farmers do not plow their land deep enough, their horses being weak. Most often, the small farmers are unable to give their cattle sufficient fodder. The small farmers have inferior manure. Their straw is shorter, and it largely is used as fodder, which means that their feed is inferior. The less straw is used for the bedding. So it's
because they're poor.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Thus, the small farmer's cattle is weaker and inferior and is kept in a worse condition, right? Because they have to keep using the same
whatever. Yeah, fodder.
Cattle or whatever for the thing. That makes sense. Their circumstances explain that the strange and glaring phenomenon that, notwithstanding the higher yield per Morgan on the large farms, income from agriculture per Morgan, according to Clocky's computations, is less on the large farm than the medium and small farms. The reason for this is that Clocky does not include fodder. He seems to miss out a lot of stuff, Clocky.
Oh, no. This is exactly, literally every economics paper in the West right now, like you'll see, literally is this. And it literally, just down Google Harvard economics and
like all of it.
Paper and download the first one, and you'll see they'll literally, and just add up the columns. Don't do anything other than making sure all the numbers add up, and half the time they won't.
Either in disbursement or in income. Wow. In this way, things that in reality make for an essential difference between the large and small farms, a difference unfavorable to the latter, are artificial and falsely equated.
Literally all of economics. Okay, let's go on.
By this method of computation, large-scale farming appears to be less remunerative. Remunerative. They don't give you as much money, right? But that's not true. Then small-scale farms, because a larger portion of the land and of the large farm is devoted to the cultivation of fodder. Although the large farm keeps as much smaller number of cattle per unit of land. Whereas the small farmers make shift with straw for fodder. Consequently, the superiority of small-scale farming lies in its wasteful exploitation of the land by inferior fertilization and of the cattle by inferior fodder. Needless to say, such a comparison of the profitableness of different farms lacks all scientific value.
Basically, yes.
Another reason for a higher yield on large farms is that the large number of big farmers, and apparently even almost they alone, marl the soil, utilize larger quantities of artificial fertilizer, the expenditure per Morgan being 81.
Okay. Being 0.81 mark, means Pfennings in all three. And cracked Futtermittel means concentrated feed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in large farms, 2 marks per Morgan, and in the others, nil. Our peasants' farm, says Clocky, who includes the medium farms in the category of large peasant farms, spend nothing on Kraft Futtermittel.
Which means I almost forgot. Concentrated feed. Okay.
Yeah, concentrated feed. There
I like
are
how German has a word for everything. Kraft
Futtermittel.
Futtermittel. Yeah, I think.
They're very slow to adopt progressive methods and are particularly chary of spending cash. The large farms are superior also in the method of cultivating the soil. We observe improved crop rotations on all 4 of the large farms. On the 3 of the medium farms, and on 1, the old 3-field system is used. And only 1 of the small farms, because they can't do crop rotations.
Because they can't afford
they
it.
don't have enough places.
Yeah.
People. Yeah. It's like he's never even heard of a farm before. He's like, what is this place? Let me go write about it as if I have. Like, where is he from? Who is this Klauki?
My guess is like, he's cited by her or Bulgakov. Bulgakov cites Klauki. So Lenin is now trolling Klauki to show how stupid Bulgakov is. Okay, got it.
Okay. So true, Klauki himself is of the opinion that the machinery is of no great consequence, and we shall not be satisfied with that. But we shall not be satisfied with that opinion.
Yeah.
We shall examine the statistics.
Yes, this is exactly what every American needs to do. When you look at a New York Times article and they're like, I don't know, whatever, incubator babies. Saddam Hussein has incubator babies. I don't think that a
lot of people like have come out of the American education system equipped with like.
Yeah, no, they're not literate.
The ability
not
to
literate.
do that, right?
I know, they're just not literate. Like it's just they can't. So this is I'm okay. And this is the weird thing is that the people that Lenin's writing to have absolutely do not know how to read. They're learning how to. They have no education, and they seem to have been better equipped to like analyze this than people.
Well, maybe it's because Lenin's so funny that they just, had an easier time.
Literally, I know. But if American education is worse than illiteracy, like it's just like, what the hell is what's going on here? I thought like
American education system is worse than being illiterate.
Yeah, apparently it is.
It's by design. It really is by design. They want
it like a really worse than being illiterate in Zoroastrian, in illiterate slave. It's like literally seems like to be like it makes you dumber. Like somehow being like it's worse. It's easier to, I don't know. It seems
no, I know exactly what you mean.
He had an easier time teaching illiterate people how to read, and then they automatically had I don't know, like they somehow living in an illiterate, like developed their logical skills better than American education system.
Okay, so listen to this. I've had numerous friends come to me in confidence telling me they regret having the vaccination. They tell me they haven't felt comfortable being honest with others. They feel like they fear backlash and judgment. Imagine how many people feel this way. And it's like, okay, why are you saying this? And then, okay, she said this because in IBT, it says 690 times. It's hold on. I'll pull up the article. 699. Hold on just a second. Fully.
Illiteracy better equips you than literacy.
So, okay. So what she's saying is, I don't know what it's like referencing, but it doesn't matter really what the source is because it's like not proving what she thinks it's proving. So what she said, it says 699 fully vaccinated Massachusetts residents die of COVID, right? So she's like using this as an excuse for people to like not get vaccinated because people are still dying when they got vaccinated. And I'm like, that's not how vaccinations work. Holy fuck. You realize that you can still die when you get a vaccination, right? But it doesn't mean that you should be encouraging people not to get vaccinations, right? Like,
well, yeah, I agree. But what I definitely blame the American media for this, because they ran like a 1-year propaganda against the Sinovac and the Sputnik because they needed to allow big pharma to catch up and profit off of it. But you can't run like an anti-vax campaign against Sinovac and Sputnik without people getting skeptical of your for-profit vaccine too, right?
well, I mean, like, I feel like people began spectacle with this vaccine because Trump was like,
no. American media before that for one whole year ran like anti-vaccine campaigns against Sputnik and Sinovac.
What year is it? It's 2018.
No,
2019 to 2020.
2019.
In 2020, in the summer of 2020, Kamala Harris said, "I wouldn't take a vaccine that came out under Trump."
Exactly.
No. But then the Sputnik is the most reliable vaccine. And they literally ran a 1-year campaign. Let me show you.
I didn't see any of that at all, but I did see them.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll show you. I can prove this. Like
No, I believe you for sure, but I just like that's not something that reached me. Like I didn't.
Yeah, it is. Like that's a problem with like most Americans is that like. I'm sorry, I'm not being like, none of this like reaches you guys.
I mean, I don't know where to find the
New York Times, like literally.
Oh yeah, I don't read that for shit. Yeah.
No, you should.
No, it's not
because you need to debunk this crap. See, Janet, can we go through this? Like
historically debunks all the good stuff for us.
No, it does not. You need to do it yourself. I'm trying to teach you how to do it. Okay, first one. Seychelles has seen a surge in coronavirus, even though much of its population has, this is a total lie, in China's Sinopharm vaccine. China gives unproven vaccines to thousands with risks unknown.
Okay. Oh yeah, and they did didn't they? Okay, so I did see the anti-Cuban vaccine.
No. Let's go through this like 1 year anti-China. Vaccines unproven, no problems in China, where people scramble for shots.
Huh.
In Russia, vaccines are free, but public distress is high.
Okay.
Russia approves coronavirus vaccine before completing tests.
So we had all of this, and then hold
on. Russia promotes homegrown vaccine, undercuts rivals. So Russia was not doing that. They were just like saying, "You shut the fuck up, you insane anti-vaxxers." Like New York, like basically that's all they said. Like they were not promoting disinformation at all. They were literally like, okay. See what a Russian vaccine maker reports positive results based on an incomplete trial. Complete lie. Russia was expecting plaudits for vaccine, and is miffed by its cool reception. It was not miffed by the cool reception.
And so who's writing all of these?
New York Times.
Well, I mean, like, it doesn't have an author for these?
Yeah, it's always like some like, does it even matter? Like they work for the New York Times in writing this. Russia's Sputnik vaccine, criticized early for its rollout, is 91.6% effective against symptomatic COVID-19 and 100% effective against serious illnesses, according to an interim analysis. So Russia's vaccine is actually better than every vaccine that's available. Yeah, so it is a better vaccine than the ones that they're giving you in America. Like,
yeah, I know. I believe that 100%.
But they
and I've known that
but they can't let Russia. They want to but they can't let private pharma not profit. So they are going to lie about Russia.
Yeah.
Okay, then read the next tweet. It's not an interim analysis. The interim analysis is a peer-reviewed study published by The Lancet, the most respected medical publication in the Western world. See what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely.
Okay.
I know
Okay. This one, the Brazil one is bullshit.
sure.
Okay. Hold on. Let me show you. Brazil rejects Russia's Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine, stating safety concerns. Is Russia's COVID-19 vaccine safe? Brazil's veto of Sputnik V sparks a lawsuit threat and confusion. Earlier this month, Slovakia's pharmaceutical regulator scrapped a batch of Sputnik doses, saying that it did not have the same characteristics and properties as those examined by the Lancet. Okay. Now click on the next tweet, Janet. You'll see what happened. U.S. officials pushed Brazil to reject Russia's coronavirus vaccine, according to the Health and Human Services report. And that's why Brazil rejected it, because Americans are like, oh, we're going to kill you. You know what I mean?
Ugh.
And then Brazil Wire, Brian Mayer, he goes into detail about Washington pressured Brazil to not buy Brazil not to buy malign vaccine, Russian vaccine. So the United States, in a public report, it said 2020. Okay, tucked away on page 48, the report shockingly relieves how the U.S. pressured Brazil to reject the Sputnik vaccine. Under the sub, combating malign influences in the Americas, the report announces the OGA used diplomatic relations in the America regions to mitigate efforts by these states, including Cuba and Venezuela and Russia, who are working to increase their influence in the region, to the detriment and the safety of the detriment of the U.S. safety and security. OGA coordinated with other government agencies to strengthen diplomatic ties and offer technical and humanitarian assistance to dissuade countries in the region from accepting aid, as in vaccines, from these ill-intentioned states. Examples include using the OGA's attaché office to persuade Brazil to reject the Russian COVID-19 vaccine, and offering CDC technical assistance in lieu of Panama accepting the Cuban one.
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely heard the anti-Cuban vaccine rhetoric.
Okay,
and I definitely heard the government officials on the Democratic side say that they don't trust a vaccine from Trump. So
I don't mind them saying that. But then you better be importing Cuba. And I trust the vaccine made under Che Guevara's government. And you better be importing Cuba's or Russia's or China's, which I trust way more than Trump's. And they're
too xenophobic for that.
No, they're not xenophobic. They want to give profits to private pharmaceuticals. So they are running a side operation campaign against you to make you think that Russia's and China's even though it's like the safest, those two are better. Even Cuba, all three of those vaccines are better vaccines. But these are sociopathic. No, like I said, these are okay. So you see that report where it says Brazil rejected, citing safety concerns, but then the U.S. government literally made them reject it.
Made them do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a completely that's what the U.S. government constantly does. Like plant stories. It's just. Oh.
Yeah, I know they've been doing that for like a very, very long time. Yeah.
Ever since William Hearst, remember the Joseph Pulitzer Prize, the most prestigious prize in journalism. And he was known for creating the Spanish-American War.
Great. Thanks, Pulitzer.
Janet, you remember? How did he create that? I forgot.
I do not know.
No, Janet knows. Maybe. He created I forgot, but whatever. He just made up that Spain bombed.
It was something, but
Spain bombed some ship or something like that, American ship.
Yeah,
it was a lie.
In his journalism, it has something to do with that he lied about the journalism during the heyday of the 19th century. Factors helped
start.
He lied about something to do with
Spain
going into Cuba and then the Philippines or something.
No, I thought they like lied that Spain bombed like an American passenger.
Yeah, it was something. Spain did something and it didn't really happen.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Like a terrorist act against America, and it didn't.
Kind of like the incubator babies in Iraq, or mass destruction. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was like Spain did something bad, but they did not do that at all, and it was just how did they start I forgot how did they start the Vietnam? Like, I forgot. That was also a lie, right?
Yeah, they were already in Cambodia. Like, no,
but Vietnam. What was the excuse they used? I forgot. But it doesn't matter. It's all about incubator babies, because actually it's gotten like worse. Like, at least you can believe that Spain bombed like something, but then to believe that the incubator baby story was just ridiculous. And
basically what my dad was talking about this too with the Vietnam War is because I was like, we were talking about the Kazakhstan thing, and I'm like, what do they want to get into a war with China or something? Yeah. And my father's like, yeah, because they lost the first war with China. And
the first war?
Well, he was saying because they expected China to go to Vietnam, and China.
Why would China do that?
Well, that's what the Americans wanted, to fight China, but that was one of the reasons. This is not like the outward reason, but this was like the known government reason, because they wanted to get in a fight with China. That is one of the main reasons why they really got into Vietnam.
Oh, but China always minds its own business, because that's just their culture.
Yeah, so they were kind of mad that China didn't come and fight them.
Because like China, that's the thing about, it's like in their culture that you're supposed to like respect other countries' sovereignty. So you mind your own business unless they ask for help. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so they wanted to get into a war with China. So they thought if they got into a war, why would China? I don't understand the connection though between why would China just like get into war with them. And they did that part, the Vietnam part.
I mean, the connection is the communism.
Right. Yeah. They were saying that they wanted to stop the spread of communism.
Yeah.
No. But why would China enter into the Vietnam War?
Because
comradely solidarity.
Because America would have gone into it if America could, you know what I mean? Like if the tables were turned. So America can only think what America does, and America thinks that every other government does exactly what America does.
But China knows that Vietnamese people can handle themselves, so they're like treated like adults. And
yeah, they were waiting. You know, I mean, if Vietnam asked for help, but Vietnam didn't need to ask for help. So.
No, they don't. Like interesting. So that's so weird. So they were like upset that China was like minding its own business and following international law.
Yes, because America would not have minded its own business.
Yeah, that's like what I've always noticed is that that's very interesting. I have no idea. Okay. So wait. So they want to get into a war with China. So they are trying the same tactic China, why would China come into like rescue Kyrgyzstan?
What I'm saying is because America.
Kazakhstan.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because America would do it. America still thinks that China thinks like America. And China doesn't think like America. So they think that China would do like if that was happening to a country near America, America would have an excuse to go in there. So America would go in there. You know, like if someone was going down and attacking Brazil or something, do you know what I mean? That would give an excuse for America to fight there in Brazil. So they're thinking that China would do the same thing. When my father was in the army, he was in the army the last few months.
So that's why. Okay.
So they talked a lot about that, and they talked a lot about like they always thought like Chinese communists were coming on doing like they were all draftees and they were older. So they do pranks all the time. And like half the time the generals and the higher ups would be like, oh, that was like a Chinese communist coming in here and doing that. Like that's exactly what they would say.
That's insane.
And then all the guys would just laugh.
That's totally insane.
That was us.
Yeah, that's completely
exactly what was happening. So they really thought that China was trying to was already infiltrating us with their communism, and that if they were fighting in Vietnam, that they would be able to fight China and fight the communists. That is basically the mindset at the time.
How do you like misunderstand like such an old culture?
By not learning about it at all.
Okay. This is not what
I think none of them have ever learned about like anything about China at all, other than it exists.
Like, I mean, it doesn't like that. Just is not how it works, and like that's just not what they do. Like I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean?
You would have to learn about other cultures.
They, like, everything, like they have like just a different culture. Like that, like.
That's why General Milley.
It's not rash. It's everything is slow, thought out, all the consequences, and then like slowly decide. You know what I mean? Among like, it's not the Chinese culture is not like rash and crazy. You know what I mean?
Well, did you remember when General Mark Milley like said that he read Mao, he read Lenin, you know, and like everyone's like, oh, you read those? Oh my God. It's like clearly you're not learning about like who you're trying to like battle against. So that's why you suck so bad at it. Like, I don't know.
Then the thing is that if you're not a sociopath and you read Mao and Lenin, you'd become a communist.
So I think Mark Milley's probably a sociopath. He is a general. So
Usually like that's the problem. Like that's why they're like scared, because they know that like Mao and Lenin are generally, I mean, they always tell the truth. So it's like, and then like, it's like easy to see, like when you like one thing is like, if you compare it with the way like Lenin engages with like, he like kind of explains why something is wrong. And he's like actually trying to persuade the population. Like,
right.
US presidents
like,
never did
yeah,
that.
Exactly.
They treat like,
yeah.
I've never seen like, so, yeah.
There is no honesty from our government. No,
I know.
There never has been.
No, there never has been, but that's because they're not smart as like they're not literally. Joe Biden's like can't even barely get a coherent sentence.
Joe Biden
making fun of people's like, what is it?
I like that people think that he's going to be able to run like in 4 years. I'm like, y'all, ooh.
Maybe I don't care. Like he's like also not making coherent sentences, but that doesn't.
They're just gonna weekend at Bernie's him like through the like just forever.
Yeah, that's what he did. Like I remember when he is so senile. He's like black. My favorite. I'm trying to. Oh God! I can't. This is so gross. I don't want to think about it, but now I can't stop thinking about it. You know, about the hair on his legs.
Oh, I got hair on my legs that glistens in the sun.
Oh God! Yes,
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
yeah. And then
something about
poor kids are better than him. Poor kids are just as smart as white kids.
But
and he kept on calling everyone Margaret Thatcher. He called Theresa May Margaret Thatcher twice. And he's like, no, it's not Margaret Thatcher, it's Theresa May. But he's like so senile that he thinks Thatcher's alive.
Hell yeah. Bring back Thatcher.
No, don't let her die. Oh my God, have you seen that lady? My favorite is the Scottish lady. She's like, I hope they stick a stake through her heart. Have you seen that?
Yes, that's so
Too
good.
Too bad. Yeah, definitely stick a stake through Margaret Thatcher. Do not let her die. Like, I hope she's like rotting in hell.
Yes,
she is in hell.
Rest in peace, Margaret Thatcher.
If there is a hell, Margaret Thatcher's in it.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, shoot. Got a little sidetracked there.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Okay. We shall examine the statistics. The following 8 kinds of machines: steam threshers, horse threshers, grain sorting machines, sifters, seed drills, manure spreaders, horse-drawn rakes, and rollers are distributed among the farms described as follows. On the 4 large farms, 29, including 1 steam thresher. On the 4 medium farms, 11, not a single steam-driven machine. And on the 4 small farms, 1 machine, a horse-driven thresher. Damn, that's quite a significant difference of machinery, which would obviously lend to the lower numbers, which we did not see. So thus those numbers are wrong. They can't be wrong. They can't be right. Of course, no opinion of any admirer of peasant farming can make us believe that grain sorting machines, seed drills, rollers, etc., do not affect the size of the crop. Yeah, obviously, that's ridiculous. Incidentally, we have here data on machines belonging to certain definite owners, unlike the general run of German statistics, which register only cases of the use of machines, whether owned or hired. Obviously, such a registration will also have an effect of minimizing the superiority of large-scale farming and of obscuring forms of borrowing machines, like the following described by Clocky. Borrowing machines. The big farmer willingly lends the small farmer. Oh my God, what? Horse rake and grain sorting machine, and if the latter promises to supply the man to do the mowing for him in the busy season.
No. So in exchange for you, this is like what the sleeping kulak does. So I will give you my cow or my tractor or whatever in exchange for you being my slave for the growing season. Like he has to give him free labor, which is being a slave.
That doesn't seem like borrowing, though.
No, that seems like slavery.
That's a really loose term of borrowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
that's why Lenny's making fun of that.
Yeah, that's not great.
You can borrow my machines, but then you have to be my slave for the next 6 months.
Shit. Consequently, a certain number of cases in which machines are employed on small farms, which we have shown are rare, represent a transmuted form of acquiring labor power. Slavery.
Yes. Transmuted. Very transmuted.
Oh, did I say that? Sorry, transmuted. To continue, another case of erroneous comparison of obviously unequal quantities is Clocky's methods of computing the price of a product on the market as being equal for all categories of farm. Instead of taking actual transactions, the author takes as a basis an assumption that he himself points to as incorrect.
No. This has happened so often. Like where you see this, like all of like New York Times does this, where they just like make up assumptions. And so why don't you just look oh my God, like for example, like yesterday they said like, I actually don't know what Myanmar charged. What's her face? How do you pronounce her name, please? Aung San Suu Kyi.
Aung San Suu Kyi?
No, I think it's Suu Kyi. Do you know how to pronounce her name? I know I interviewed Brian Bertalich, but I can't remember how to pronounce her name. Janet, do you know?
I'm sorry. I was
Hi. Aung San Suu Kyi.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how to pronounce her.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to listen to somebody say it really quick.
Myanmar Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts to bring Aung San Suu Kyi.
Aung San Suu Kyi, yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, they probably they should probably charge her with like treason or something like it. There's evidence. Like she's like has a Australian guy in her like Secretary of Treasury. Like it's just straight up treason, basically. But then like they claim that so like the report said that she was charged with having walkie-talkies, which makes no sense. So then like I just assume like, okay, I don't care enough to like fact check this because I just assume it's a lie. But Brian Bertalik will fact check this. Like he said, so watch the new Atlas. But I've seen this happen at other times where they just like basically like something like Evo Morales claims U.S. assassination attempt against him, and it's actually he's telling the truth. So, but then they just assume it's a lie and put like they just or the like Maduro cracks down on dissent for criticizing by bombing the parliament. Like that. No, bombing the Supreme Court is the dissent that he cracked down on. But then you don't have to use you just don't have to like, you can go like to the Venezuelan government website and see, what did they charge this guy with? Oh, bombing the Supreme Court. Okay. Versus, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they frame it, they lie to.
Yeah, like exactly. This guy just made up assumptions when you can check the facts.
Right.
Mm-hmm. This is liberals are so uncreative that they don't really care to check the facts, so they just make up assumptions and they don't think other people can fact check things. Okay.
Well, even if you do, they don't believe you anyways, usually.
Oh, like, I mean, no. That guy went silent after I was like, when did Lithuania have its 1 quarter? All Stalin, like, Stalin went and stabbed everyone. I don't know. How would a Stalin killed one for the, I don't know, whatever he did to kill one for the, he didn't. And he never responded after I showed him the public. When did this alleged? I showed him the statistics. Actually, the biggest population drip happened after like Lithuania got taken over by these like psychos. So like, I think it was like somewhere in like 1999. But even that was not 1 quarter. Like that's just ridiculous.
Okay. Hosea, to continue, another case of erroneous comparisons of. Oh wait, no, I read that already.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. Obviously, unequal quantities is Clocky's methods of computing the price of the product on the market as being equal for all categories of farms. Instead of taking actual transactions, the author takes as a basis an assumption that he himself points to as incorrect. The peasants sell most of their grain in their own locality, and merchants in small towns force down prices very considerably. The large estates are better off in this respect. They can send grain to the principal city and to the province in the province in considerable quantities. In doing so, they usually receive from 20 to 30 pfennigs more per cent, like I think that like centner, right?
Yeah.
Per centner that they could get in a small town, right? So the big farmers are better able to assess the value of their grain, and they sell it not by measure as the peasants do, but to their disadvantage, but by weight. Okay.
Like 1 cup of rice versus 1 gram of rice.
Yeah. Similarly, the big farmers sell their cattle by weight, whereas the price of the peasant cattle is fixed simply on the basis of outer appearance. The big farmers can also make better arrangements for selling their dairy products, for they can send their milk to towns and obtain higher prices than middle farmers who convert their milk into butter to sell to merchants. Moreover, the butter produced on the medium farms is superior than that produced on the small farms. Use of separators and daily churnings and so forth. So there's other like little factors that are in that.
Okay, it's kind of weird. Like usually Lenin gets hyper obsessed about margarine, but he like has not mentioned this.
The latter get from 5 to 10 pfennigs per pound less. The small farmers have to sell their fat stock sooner. This is less matured than the middle farmers because they have smaller supply of fodder.
Because they have thinner cows.
Oh, true. Clocky in his monograph leaves out all of his calculations all these advantages and their totality by no means unimportant, which the large farms possess as sellers, just as the theoreticians who admire small-scale farming leave out this fact and refer to the possibility of improving matters by means of cooperation.
Possibility.
We do not wish to confound the realities of capitalism with the possibilities of petty bourgeois cooperative paradise.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God. What
I want to tell this to like Anarch. He really drives me nuts. Oh my God. He that's all he does is he confounds realities with the possibilities of petty bourgeois cooperative paradise.
He's so good with words.
What? Lenin, yeah.
Lenin, yeah.
So you're talking about Anarch.
No. I'm just like reading this over again. I'm like, ooh.
I know, me too. I'm just like, I wonder. And now I'm like, I wonder how this sounds in Russian.
Oh, yeah.
There's two kinds of, like Lenin always makes fun of, like sometimes when it's like a total babble, he'll say something like, "Sto это значит только Allah vedает," which means only, like, I don't know what does this mean? Only Allah can divine it, like not even God, but you have to go to Allah. Nice. It's like really word salady when he like invokes Allah.
I like it. Like,
yeah, but when it gets real, no. But God is not enough at that point. You just like have to go to Allah. Like, he's like, like he says bugs like is nayat, but then like when it's the biggest word salad, you like he always like uses Allah, and I've never understood why you have to go to Allah for the bigger word salads.
Well, it's like we say, "Oh God," but like then if something like really cool happens, we say "Inshallah." Like I don't know.
I say "Inshallah" all the time.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful word.
So good. Yeah,
it's like such a passive, like "Inshallah," if God willing.
Yeah, I like it.
Like you're just like so. I don't know how to explain it, but I love that word.
I feel like that's just it. Lenin's Inshallah. Yeah.
No, but he reserves it for word salad. Big word. I need to practice my Russian handwriting because yesterday, oh my God, this was embarrassing. So yesterday I was practicing my B's, and then like Parvati came in and he's like, "Oh, can I try this?" And she did a whole row of B's. And then I took a picture and sent it to my Russian teacher. And he said, "Eta kak rебенок," which means this is like a little child. And that was referring to my.
Oh, no.
And he's like, "This is beautiful."
No.
That was referring to Parvati's bees. And I'm like, thank you. That really made me feel like an adult.
Dang it. That's funny, though. Like, we do not wish to confound the realities of capitalism with the possibilities of a petty bourgeois cooperative paradise. Below, we shall bring forward facts showing who really derives the most advantage out of cooperatives.
Is this like Lenin saying facts don't care about your feelings?
That's exactly what he's saying. Let us note that Klucky is not concerned with the labor of small and middle farmers themselves in draining the soil and all kinds of repair work. The peasants do the work themselves and so forth. The socialist calls things advantage, or the socialist calls this advantage enjoyed by the small farmer overwork. And
Uber means up and unter means down.
And the bourgeois economist refers to it as one of the advantageous aspects for society of peasant farming.
Slaves.
So wait, hold on. Huh? So wait, he's saying that he doesn't care that they have to do all like the repair work themselves, making them more tired and thus less time and effort spent on their own personal farms, right? They're just doing repairs and stuff. And that's an advantage?
Because for society, not for the peasant. Free labor is good. I love it when you provide me with slave labor. It's good for society that you're a slave.
The socialists call this advantage enjoyed by small farmers, overwork, and the bourgeois economists refer to it as one of the advantageous aspects for society of peasant farming. Okay, so yeah, that makes more sense. Like the socialists are like, hey, that's not great. And the capitalists are like, it's so great. Okay, let us note that as Clocky points out, the hired laborers get better pay and food on the medium farms than the large farms, but they work harder. The example set by the farmers stipulates greater diligence and thoroughness. Which of these two capitalists mastered the landlord or his own kind? The peasant squeezes more work out of the laborer for the given wages.
Okay, so here, hold on. He means okay. I hate when they do this peasant confusion thing. Okay, so sometimes when they say peasant, they mean serfs, and sometimes when they say peasant, they mean like rural person. So here, I hate when I do. Okay, whatever. Go ahead.
Clocky does not attempt to determine what therefore confine or Jesus, hold on. We shall therefore and confine ourselves to stating that the expenditure of the big farmers on accident and the old age insurance for their laborers amount to 0.29 marks per morgen, and that the middle farmer to 0.13 marks. The small farmer here too enjoys an advantage in that he does not insure himself at all. Yay, saving money, according to the capitalist, right? Needless to say, to the great advantage of society, of capitalists and landlords.
So basically, if this peasant gets injuries, he's
screwed. Yeah. We shall also bring an example. Oh shoot! From Russia, from Russian agricultural capitalism. No, I just moved up my screen and I lost it, and I thought I could scroll up and read, but I could not.
You can't.
We shall also bring an example from Russian agricultural capitalism. The reader who is familiar with Tchaikovsky's work. Yeah. Tchaikovsky's work outside agricultural employment will probably remember the following characteristic observation. The Russian homestead farmers and the German colonists in the South pick their laborers, pay them from 15 to 20% more than do the big employers, and squeeze 50% more work out of them. So
they don't pay them 20% more, they pay them less.
This was reported by Tchaikovsky in 1896, the year we read in Turgovo.
No, hold on. I know exactly what it is. Torgova Pramyshlenia Gazeta, which is a
commercial and industrial gazette.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
For instance, the following communication from Kakhovka,
I think.
Kakhovka. So the following communication from Kakhovka, the peasant and homestead farmers, as is the custom, paid higher wages than those paid on the big estates, for they demand better workers than those possessing the greatest endurance.
They're not paying better wages if they are making you work
them do
hours.
More, right? Like, hello.
What the hell is this table?
There are hardly grounds for assuming that this condition is characteristic of Russia alone.
It is not.
In the table given above, the reader saw two methods of computation, one that takes into account the money value of the farmer's labor power and one that does not. Mr. Bulgakov considers that to include this money value is hardly correct.
Because he wants to use slaves.
Of course, a precise budget of the farmers and laborers' expenditure in money and in kind would be far more correct. But since we lack these data, we are obliged to make an approximate estimate of the family's money expenditure. The manner in which Clocky makes this approximation is extremely interesting. The big estate owners do not work themselves, of course. They even have special salaried managers who carry out all the work of direction and supervision. The 4 estates, 3 are supervised by managers and 1 is not. Clocky would consider it more correct to classify this last estate, consisting of 125 hectares, as a large peasant estate. Oh, because it doesn't have a manager?
Yeah.
Clocky assigns to the owner of two large estates 2,000 marks per annum for each for their labor, on which the first estate, for instance, consists of leaving the principal estate once a month for a few days, check up on the manager's work.
Okay, so basically, by the way, just so we remember how Lenin said German colonists? So what they would do is they'd come to Russia and like get land and then like set up this like slave system and then like
leave
and then collect rent. And then when the Bolshevik Revolution happened, that gravy train was like cut off. And then a lot of these Baltic German the first funders of the Nazi parties were these Baltic German colonists who were like Lebensraum because they just wanted their slaves back.
Oh boy.
But you see he says German colonists, right? Like that's what they did. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, they colonized.
Yeah, they just collected rent. And then like the Bolshevik Revolution cut off that gravy train. So then these people are like, I'm not, like, we don't get free money. And I have to work for a job. I'm being oppressed.
Yeah, landlords is not a job. Sorry.
No.
Sorry, sweaty. That provides nothing.
And it's like, okay, so let's just like support Hitler.
Well, Hitler's going to let him be a landlord slave owner. So that works.
Yeah, that's exactly what the dog whistle about Lebensraum that most Americans look at is. It's not extra living room. It's slaves back.
That's not great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Clocky assigned that. It is not natural that a farmer with smaller amounts of land should make shift with a smaller budget. Or is it not natural that a farmer with small amount of land should make shift with smaller budget?
Yeah.
Clocky allows the middle farmer from 1,200 to 1,716 marks for the labor of his husband and wife, and in 3 cases also of the children. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, is he saying that the children make that much money?
No. He's assigning that money for the children's labor.
But is he saying that they're getting paid that?
No. He's just assigning that as a calculation.
Okay.
So, but then this means that the children are not going to whatever. Okay, dear.
They're not going to school, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So to the small farmer, he allows from 800 to 1,000 marks for the work of 4 or 5 persons, i.e. a little more, if more at all, than the laborer and the instrument gets, who with his family only earns from 800 to 900 marks. Thus, we observe here another big step forward. First, the comparison is made between figures that are obviously uncomparable. Now it is declared that the standard of living must decline with the diminution of the size of the farm. But that means that a priori recognition of the fact that capitalism degrades the small peasant, a fact ostensibly to have been refuted by that computation of the net profit.
Correct.
So he's basically saying that none of the things that he has said make any sense.
Correct.
And if by the author's assumption, the money and income diminishes with the diminution of the size of the farm, the drop in consumption is evident by direct data. Consumption of agricultural products on the farm amounts to the following per persons, counting 2 children as 1 adult. Large farm, 227 marks, average of 2 figures. Medium farm, 218 marks, an average of 4 figures. And a small farm, 135 marks, average of 4 figures. And the larger of the farm, the larger is the quantity of additional food products purchased. Clocky himself observed that here it is necessary to raise the question of Unterkonsumption, underconsumption, which Mr. Bulgakov denied, and which here he preferred to ignore, thus proving that even more of the apologists than, thus proving that to be even more of an apologist than Clocky. Bulgakov, you just got smoked.
That's his PhD thesis, by the way. Imagine how
He did his PhD thesis on something that was completely wrong.
Well, no, yeah, Lenin is debunking his PhD thesis.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
I would be completely embarrassed.
Exactly. Like, and I don't know why Lenin picks Bulgakov's PhD thesis, but just pick that. Yeah.
Sometimes you just zero in on a dummy.
I know. Lenin doesn't. Lenin's like petty, so there must have been some reason why.
Well, I mean, this is the reason. It was terrible. You know, if you read his thing, it's like, wow, like, how could you do this?
Yeah.
Who gave him his PhD?
He talks about it in chapter 1. I forgot.
Clocky seeks to minimize the significance of this fact. Whether there is any underconsumption among the small farmers or not, we cannot say, he states. But we think it is probable in the case of the small farm 4, 97 marks per head. Okay, so he's like, we think it is probable in the case of small farm 4. Okay, so he's conceding to one farm that may be under consuming. Thank you for at least that, I guess. The fact is that the small peasant lived very frugally. I love his exclamation point. His exclamation points are so snarky.
Where is it? Oh, yeah. I forgot about those. Like he'd like quote tweets. Like the 97 marks per head is like a quote tweet.
And sell much of what they, so to speak, save out of their mouths.
Okay. I'm gonna ask like I have a friend who's Swiss German. I'm just gonna ask him to record himself saying this because
this is hilarious. This sentence
was a German sentence.
No, that the fact is that the small peasants live very frugally and sell much of what they, so to speak, save out of their mouths. So they're saying that they're too poor to eat the food because they have to sell the food to keep the farm. So yay, they're making money. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh goodness. 6 subs So
hold on. Don't worry. I'll get my German.
You don't want me to mess it up? I can mess it up.
Nah.
I'm going to translate.
I think no. It literally that, like something about the mouth. From the mouth, whatever that he says.
Save sick from the mouth, so to speak.
Sich sozusagen vom Munde absparen.
It is interesting that the income from the sale of milk and butter on large farms amount to 7 marks per morgen, on medium farms 3 marks, and on small farms 7 marks. The point is, however, that the small peasant consumes very little butter and whole milk, while the inhabitants of small farm, on which the consumption of products produced amounts to only 97 marks per head, do not consume these items at all. Let the reader compare this fact, which, by the way, has long been known to all except the critics, with Hertz's grand reasoning. But does the peasant get nothing for his milk? Who in the end eats the milk-fed pig? Not the peasant. These utterances should be recalled more often as an unexcelled example of the most vulgar embellishment of poverty. Lenin. That's his footnote.
That was a good footnote.
Yeah, if I read it.
He attempts to prove that this fact does not refute the higher productivity of small-scale farming. If consumption were increased to 170 marks, which is quite adequate for the younger brother. Well, what does that one say?
The younger brother. Okay. The younger brother, i.e. the people, a patronizing term, expression used in liberal.
Okay, it makes sense.
Liberal literature in Tsarist times. Brat. Okay, let me just.
So it's saying the younger brother as like good for the peasants, not for the capitalists, right? It's good for you.
Wait, yeah, this is so funny.
Right, because they're like 170 Morgans is good for, or 170 marks is good for you, but not for me, little brother, right? I just did think that's really funny because I didn't even want to go there. Never mind, just forget.
Go ahead.
Well, it's like how the American slave owners were. They're like, the slaves are part of our family,
No, they're not.
I know that. But
No. I know
Oh, there you
exactly what you like. It's kind of like what I call it is Galdecott, where he's like the Bajoran. I treated the Bajoran people like my own children.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Galdecott.
It's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah, and then and he's like, so I love that. Like, I love how they captured that. Like, he's like so clueless about why everyone in Bajor hates him, and he's like, I saved them from like being super exterminated.
If this amount is subtractive, see the table above, we get from 29 to 30 marks, i.e. a sum still larger than obtained on the large farms. But if we increase consumption, not to this haphazardly taken figure, and a low one at that, because he'll manage somehow, but to 218 marks, equal to the actual figure on the medium farms, the income from the sale of products will drop from the small farm to 20 marks for Morgan, as against 29 marks on the medium farms and 25 marks on the large farms. That is to say, the correction of this one error of the numerous errors indicated above in Clocky's computation destroys all advantages of the small peasant. So if you actually look at the numbers, how they make sense. But Clocky is untiring in his quest of advantages.
Quest of advantages.
The small peasants combined agriculture with industrial occupations.
So
Three small
two
peasants.
jobs.
Oh my God. They just have more skills, Diligently work as the day labor and receive board in addition to their pay. Oh no. So,
wait.
so they live on, so they're, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get to live there as their payment. That's so sweet. But the advantages of small scale farming are particularly marked during periods of crisis. As Russian readers have long known from the numerous exercises on this theme on the part of the Narodniks, now rehashed by the Chernovs, during agricultural crises, as well as other times, it is the small farmers that possess the greatest ability, and they are able to sell a relatively larger quantity of products than the other categories of farmers by severely curtailing domestic expenses, which is true. It is true, must lead to a certain amount of underconsumption. Unfortunately, many small farms are reduced to this by the high rates of interest loans. But in this way, although with great effort, they are able to keep on their feet and eke out a livelihood. Probably it is the great diminution of consumption that chiefly explains the increase of the numbers of small peasant farms in our locality indicated by the statistics of the empire. And Clocky adduces figures for the...
What does adduces mean?
I think he maybe assumes. He just cites these things as evidence.
Okay.
So he's saying that these figures are evidence that where the period between 1882 and 1895, the number of farms under 2 hectares increased from 56,000 to 79,000. Those from the 2 to 5 hectares from 12,000 to 14,000, and those from 5 to 20 hectares from 16,000 to 19,000. This in East Prussia, the very place in which the Bulgakovs claimed to see the elimination of large scale by small scale production. And yet the gentleman...
That's insane. Go ahead.
The elimination of large scale, but that is insane. What? The small scale people are going to take out the large scale farms?
That's
is that
insane.
really what he's saying?
Yeah.
Oh no. I wonder if he was using his doctorate or this paper to try to get more protections for large scale farms.
Yes, he was.
Well, goddamn. That makes more sense. Like why he would be doing this. Because does he own any farms? Let's see.
Probably.
How many farms does he own?
Probably a lot. Oh, wait a minute. Lenin talks about that too in chapter 1. I forgot, like 3 or something like that. Or is that the other
really
guy?
funny.
Or that hurts? I forgot.
Somebody owns large scale farms who
No, one of them, like Lenin talks about in chapter 2 or 3. I forgot.
Okay. Okay, where the heck was I? The elimination of large scale by small scale production, absurd. And yet the gentlemen who give the bare statistics of the area of the farms and this Suzdal fashion clamor for details. Naturally, Clocky considers that the most important task of modern agrarian policy is for the solution of the agricultural labor problem in the East is to encourage the most efficient laborers to settle down by affording them the opportunity of acquiring a piece of land as their own property, if not in the first, then at least in the second generation.
Like your grandchildren. If you work hard, it's like, if you work hard, your grandchildren may get like some land.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks. That's not great. What does he mean when he keeps saying sick?
Like there's probably a grammatical error that he's like saying that I've left this grammatical or spelling error because or something like that. It's like
he says it a lot.
Yeah, because apparently Clocky has a lot of grammar errors.
And then in the last oh my God. So he's saying, yeah, you're not going to be prosperous, maybe, but listen, your kids will
one day will have affordable
maybe.
access to not being a slave.
And so you have that to look forward to, isn't that
affordable access to not being a slave? Yes.
It doesn't matter whether the what is that? What is that word?
It's a German word. Let me figure out what it means. I don't know. It looks like a German word.
It looks Belarusian.
It's not. It can't be Belarusian. Im Norden. It's definitely German.
Okay.
Только van. Instrument? I don't know. In English, I don't know.
Institutes.
Okay.
Okay, it doesn't matter that the institutes who purchase a plot of land out of their savings in the majority of cases prove to be worse off financially. They are fully aware of this themselves, but they are tempted by the greater freedom. And the main task of the bourgeois political economy, now apparently of the critics also, is to foster this illusion among the most backward section of the proletariat.
Who can't read it. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh no.
Okay.
Thus, on every point, Clocky's inquiries refute Mr. Bulgakov's, who referred to Clocky's.
Pearl jerk citation.
And they're like messing it up. That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
This inquiry demonstrates the technical superiority of large-scale production in agriculture to overwork and underconsumption, of the small peasants, and his transformation into the irregular or day laborer for the landlord. It proves that there is a connection between the increase in the number of small peasant farms and the growth of poverty and proletarianization.
Obviously.
The two conclusions that follow from this inquiry area of exceptional significance from the point of view of principle. First, we see clearly that the obstacle to this introduction of machinery in agriculture, the abysmal degradation of the small farmer who is ready to leave out of account his toil and who makes manual labor cheaper for the capitalists than machinery.
Oh, that's even worse. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Turning them into cattle.
Damn.
Actually, there's, never mind. Just Google it. You'll see they literally go for it. Okay.
Mr. Bulgakov's assertion, notwithstanding The facts prove incontestably that under the capitalist system, the position of the small peasants in agriculture is in every way analogous to that of the handicraftsmen in industry. Mr. Bulgakov's assertion notwithstanding, we see that the agriculture in a still further diminution in consumption and a still further intensification of labor employed as a method or as methods of competing with large scale production. So yeah, they were trying to compete. So they were like literally starving themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then like these
Or
two
like as Bain says,
bozos are like, look, that's great for them. They're making so much money.
yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like what Bain says, you, what do you say? I've done this Bain before. Looks really corrupt. You myths of fall. I'm gonna have to get that brain. I'm gonna do this again, but I'm gonna do it this time because we got a copyright shutdown. I love that Bain speech.
Mm-hmm.
We take Gotham from the corrupt, the oppressors of generations who have kept you down with the myths of opportunity, and we give it back to you, the people. I don't understand. Like, how can he be a villain? Like, that sounds like what you're. I've always like he does not sound like a villain at all. You know what I mean?
Wait, which one?
Bane. This is what he says.
Oh, Bane.
Okay, you're okay.
Yeah, I know.
Take opportunity from the corrupt, the wretched, and the oppressors. Oh, no, sorry. We take, what does Bain say? Oh, we take Gotham from the corrupt, the oppressors of generations who have kept you down with myths of opportunity, and we give it back to you, the people. Like, where's the
He sounds based.
Yeah, like, exactly. He's like, yeah.
Bane is a communist, confirmed.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Bane's like always, I've always wondered, like, he sounds like awesome.
Okay, there's a new like thing that I don't know what this is. I haven't watched it yet, and you should cut this part out, but let's play this for both of us so we can watch it together.
God, who's God Empanada?
These bozos are talking about.
Who is the?
It looks like non-compete is arguing with Bosch, but I don't know what they're talking about.
Wait. Is that Luna's husband?
Yes, that is Luna's husband.
Her ideology was not aligned with reality.
How can you tell?
Jews don't actually control banks in the world.
There was a discussion. Banks in Germany.
Oh my God, why would he say that? Oh no.
All right, Bosch, we're done.
Why would he? What? Why would he say that? Bosch is a...
No, there was not. Lord. Holy mother. He's literally
He's like a Nazi.
There's not a Nazi. He is.
Yeah, that's not great.
Saying that
Jews disproportionately own the banks. Like he literally just fucking said that. Like that.
Jews.
That's
Agala.
That makes you a not. You can't. That's a Nazi thing to say. Fucking hell.
Okay, we're not gonna cut this. We're not cutting this out. This is fun.
You should play what he said.
Yeah, we are obviously gonna play what he said.
Their ideology was not aligned with reality.
How can you tell?
Because Jews don't actually control banks in the world.
There was a disproportionate number of Jewish control of banks in Germany during the Weimar Republic.
All right, Bosch, we're done here. Thank you. Goodbye.
Holy God, he went full Nazi.
He just went full Nazi. Like he just did it.
Yeah. Jews control the banks in the Weimar Republic.
Oh my God.
Okay. Like Alexander Zolfenstein, who's like, actually the problem was not, no. The funny thing is that Jews can't control a disproportionate number of banks in the Weimar Republic and also be part of like Alexander the anti-Semitic snowflake, Zols or whatever. He in his book he literally says like he had a chapter that says like one Russian, the very first Bolshevik cabinet, one Russian, one Georgian, and 17 Jews, and he's like literally counting every Jew like in the government, and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Please don't do that. Why are you doing that? That's weird. like holy shitballs. Like
that's the guy who wrote the Gulag Archipelago, and you're like, what? So you're bothered by too many Jews.
Jesus Christ. Like, first of all, he's going from like where they're born, and then these people don't have a birthplace because they're Jewish. Like, I just don't understand like that, either. Like,
no,
this is just basically like like there's no other, I don't know how, like, I just don't understand why that bothers people. Like, I don't fucking get it.
Because he was anti-Semitic. Oh, well, okay. So
I guess I don't.
Hold on. Let me explain. The thing is that Jews overwhelmingly supported the revolution, but that was because they were most oppressed in Tsarist Russia. So obviously they're the ones who were most likely to want to change.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But if you're like a crazy Nazi, you're not going to make that connection that like, so yes, their Jews were overwhelmingly communist, but that's because Nazis
they were they were being oppressed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense to me, but like I don't know. These type of like things that people like of racism and like anti-Semitism like doesn't fucking make sense to me. Like don't.
It makes perfect sense to me. Okay. So when you have like extreme, I've noticed just because I've studied this like different like extreme unequal societies, if you have like 100 slaves while you're just like just chilling and relaxing, if you don't have the belief that you are inherently superior to the people who you're enslaving ingrained into you, you can't have that society. So in order for society to turn into like this, the people at the top have to believe that they're inherently superior to their slaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do know the capitalists think that they're better than...
No. Like Gramsci talks about it. Like, how do you keep up a system where yours just has 100 slaves? If like the first thing is you just have to believe that you're inherently superior to that. Like you can't see them as people. Like they just,
right.
And otherwise you would not, if you saw them as equals, like there's no way you can keep up that system. But because the system developed so long, it's clear, like, and then so then there's like a big, what people don't realize is that like Republicans like don't deny reality. It's just that they have live a different, you know what I mean? The rich live a different reality than most of us. And people don't understand that. Like,
that's why I don't know if you've seen that clip, but it's like Bezos or Bill Gates or some shit, and they're like talking about the price of detergent. They like on a game show, they asked the richest men in the world how much things cost at Walmart, and they couldn't do it.
Obviously, they can't.
They couldn't do it because they don't know. They don't live that life. They don't go shopping for themselves. Like they don't have any idea.
Exactly. And so it makes perfect sense to me, but wow, he doesn't even have the social awareness not to say that out loud though. Everyone knows you're not supposed to talk. You know what I mean? Like even if you're like a fascist, you're not supposed to, you're not supposed to say that. You know what I mean? No, but you know what I mean?
It's a dumb fascist.
All fascists are dumb, but they usually know not to say this out loud nowadays.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Vosh is like a special type of like garbage. person, you know?
What makes him special? Like, he's like,
I don't know. Like
why
that.
do people watch him? Like he's.
I don't know. That's what, like that. I don't know. Like probably, I don't know why people watch him. Like that's why I'm like, there has to be something special. Maybe that he's bankrolled by the CIA, but
Nah,
like,
I don't think so.
you don't think that they like pay for subs or whatever?
No, his dad does.
His dad does.
Is like a rich movie producer or something like that.
You don't think that the CIA, like, you know how the CIA
don't.
did,
Yes,
like
but,
they paid
yes.
artists and stuff.
Yeah, no. I'm interviewing the filmmakers like on February 1st. So yes, I know that. But no, Vosh is being subsidized by his dad and he's volunteering for the CIA.
He's just volunteering.
Like as in he is stupid enough to not know that he is repeating regime change propaganda.
Do you think he really is just like stupid?
Yeah,
or like
very
what?
Like,
I think he's malicious. I can't tell if he's malicious or stupid or evil or all of these things.
He's malicious, stupid, and evil. But the reason why he's doing that is because he's just like he's never had to reality, like the system's never broken down for him, so he's never had to question it. So he's just like he just believes whatever he doesn't even know that he's imbibing like national. He's not aware. I can tell.
Well, he is aware because we tell him all the time.
No, he's not aware because he does not think. I don't know how to explain it, but you're not.
He just thinks that it's not true. He thinks that CIA narratives are like a joke.
No, he thinks they are the truth because he cannot question. He's not capable of questioning the system enough to like think critically about it. He just literally believes everything.
Can somebody think they're class conscious but not be?
Yeah,
I think
half the population.
Oh, okay, good. Because I thought that definitely was a thing. Okay, where are we at?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thus, on every point, Clocky's inquiry refutes Mr. Bulgakov, who referred to Clocky. So this inquiry demonstrates the technical superiority of large-scale production in agriculture, the overwork and underconsumption of the small peasant, and his transformation into regular or day labor for the landlord. It proves that there is a connection between the increase of number of small peasant farms and the growth of poverty and proletarianization. Two conclusions that follow from this inquiry are of exceptional significance from the point of view of the principle. First, we see clearly that the obstacle to the introduction of machinery in agriculture, the abysmal degradation of the small farmer who is ready to leave out of account his own toil and who makes the manual labor cheaper for this capitalist than machinery. Mr. Bulgakov's assertion notwithstanding, the facts prove incontestably that under the capitalist system, the position of the small peasant in agriculture is in every way analogous to that of the handicraftsman in industry. Mr. Bulgakov's assertion notwithstanding, we see in agriculture and a still further diminution in consumption and a still further intensification of labor employed as methods of competing with large-scale production. Secondly, in regards to every manner of comparison between the remunerativeness of small and large farms, we must once and for all declare as absolutely useless and vulgarly apologetic any conclusion that leaves out of account the following three circumstances. How does the farmer eat, live, and work? How are the cattle kept and work? How is the land fertilized? And is the exploitation in a rational manner? Small-scale farming manages to exist by methods of sheer waste of the farmer's labor and vital energy, waste of strength and quality of cattle, and waste of the production or productive capacities of the land. Consequently, any inquiry that fails to examine these circumstances thoroughly is nothing more nor less than bourgeois sophistry. It is not surprising, therefore, that the theory of the overworked and underconsumption of the small peasants in modern society have been so severely attacked by Monsieur the critics. In Nachalo, Mr. Bulgakov undertook to give any number of citations disproving Kautsky's assertion. From the studies of the League for Social and Political Question, Zustand, conditions of the peasantry, repeats Mr. Bulgakov. Kautsky, in his attempt to galvanize the corpse of the obsolete dogma back to life, selected certain facts showing the depressed condition of peasant farming, which is quite understandable at the present time. Let the reader look for him. Let the reader look for himself. He will find evidence there of a somewhat different character. Let us look for ourselves and verifying the quotations given by the strict scientist who, in part, merely repeats Hertz's quotations. From Eisenach comes evidence of improvements in stock breeding, in soil fertilization, evidence of the use of machinery, and in general of progress in agricultural production. We turn to the article on Eisenach, the condition of owners of less than 5 hectares, of which there are 887 out of 1,116 farms in the district, is in general not very favorable. Insofar they can work for big farmers as reapers, day laborers, etc., their condition is relatively good. Generally speaking, important technological progress has been made in the past 20 years, but much is left to be desired, particularly in regards to the smaller farmers. The smaller farmers sometimes employ weak cows for field work. Subsidiary earnings derived from tree felling and carting firewood. The latter takes the farmer away from the agriculture and leads to worsened conditions. Nor does tree felling provide adequate earnings. In some districts, the small landowners engage in weaving, which is miserably paid. In isolated cases, work is obtained at cigar making and at home. Okay, so they do side hustles.
Yep, and get second jobs and yeah.
Generally speaking, there is a shortage of subsidiary earnings. So like this whole piece, like these two are basically Hertz and Bulgakov are promoting the grind set mentality.
Exactly. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In isolated cases, work is obtained at cigar making. At home, generally speaking, there is a shortage of subsidiary earnings. And the author, Economy Commissar Dietzenberger, concludes that with the remark that in view of their simple lives and their modest requirements, the peasants are strong and healthy, which is astonishing considering the low nutritive value of the food consumed by the poorest class, among whom potatoes are a principal item of fare. That is how the learned Voroshilovs refute the obsolete Marxist prejudice of peasant farming is incapable of technological progress. In regard to the Kingdom of Saxony, General Secretary Langsdorff says that in whole districts, particularly in the most fertile localities, there is now hardly any difference in intensiveness of cultivation between. Girl, how can you even write that? Come on. There's now hardly any difference in intensiveness of cultivation between large and small estates. That is how Kautsky is refuted in the Austrian Voroshilov, followed by the Russian Voroshilov, Bulgakov. We turn to page 222 of the book, which from the critic cites the following And following the words quoted by Hertz, we read, the difference is more marked in the hilly district where the bigger estates operate with relatively large working capital. But here too, very frequently, the peasant farms realize a no lesser net profit than do the large farms, since the smaller income is compensated by greater frugality, which at the prevailing very low level of requirements is carried in such length that the condition of the peasant is very often worse than that of the industrial worker who has become accustomed to greater requirements. We read further that the prevailing system of land cultivation is crop rotation, which has become the predominant system among the middle farmers, while the three-field system is met with almost exclusively among the small peasant-owned estates. In regards to stock breeding, progress is also observed everywhere. Only in regard to raising of horned cattle and the utilization of dairy products does the peasant usually lag behind the big landlord. Professor Rank, continues Mr. Bulgakov, testifies to the technological advance in peasant farming and the environs of Munich, which he says is typical for the whole of Upper Bavaria. We return to Rank's article, 3 Grossbar communities farming with the aid of hired laborers. 69 peasants out of 119 hold more than 20 hectares of land, or 20 hectares, each comprising of 3/4 of the land. Moreover, 38 of these peasants hold more than 40 hectares each, with an average of 59 hectares each. Between them, they hold nearly 60% of the entire land. We think this should suffice to reveal the manner in which Monsieur Bulgakov and Hertz quote. Got him. Demolished.
Yep. Wow, this was like a long piece, but it was worth it, and it's a long episode. But thank you so much for just taking this headache off my list, agreeing to do this until we finish this piece, because it's hard for people who are not into Lenin to do this.
No, I love it. I really enjoy. I love
Lenin.
Yeah, I love Lenin too. He's so funny. He's so good. He's so smart.
Yeah. He's also endearing. The more you know about him, the more adorable he gets. Like
that picture of him covering up the cat's ears because he was saying something naughty.
Yeah.
I just love that. That's precious.
I know. Oh my God. Oh yeah. And it's funny because he's so cool. Adore. For example, he met in last week's Nadezhda Remembers part. He meets this lady who knows how to ship stuff, and he's like, "Oh my God, this lady she's a real shipper." And then he goes on to talk about how it's a real business.
That's precious.
Yeah, it's so adorable.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Oh yeah.